Hello, everybody. This is Pete from PA Labs, and we're picking up with SHMUP video number 3 right after the number 2. Oh boy, that's brilliant, isn't it? Okay, so as I was saying, the arrays are all defined to where the game actually plays itself. There's no real code interaction as such. Things fire randomly, things randomly happen, and it just is a matter of what happens. So that's the beauty of sprites. Sprites collide, and you can track when that happens and have fire off events. Okay. So we have the code sheets for all the different modules of the game. So if you want to go look at how the background stars are made, that'll be in stars. Player movement, player firing, enemy movement, enemy firing, and then check collisions. They're all in their own code sheet, and we're going to go through them all. Don't worry. So then we're down here heading towards our game. We're almost to the actual beginnings of the game screen stuff. Uh, so we have our font because remember we have to write to the screen and we have to write the top 10 list on the top 10 sprite sheet. So we have our heroes list. So in order to do all of this, we have to initialize a init sprite, a init keyboard, a init sound, a init mouse, a init all manner of things. So this all begins here. And after we've got sound, we can come down here and load in all our sounds. Now, I've not done a video on sounds, but you'll see shortly there's a lot of nuance to sounds. And normally I build a big object around it and do that. But for a shmup, it's just easier not to mess with any of that. So we come in here and we load up the various sounds that the game uses. And if you notice, they're all waves. Waves are very small. They're for the, clicks, the laser shooting, the bombs blowing up, all that kind of junk. And then you have the Galaxy Seed, which is an OGG. And this is actually a free MP3. It's just a little bigger than MP3 and doesn't come with the baggage that MP3 is proprietary. And if you use it, you can use it for free, I believe is the license, until you sell 5,000 items and then you owe them $20,000 or something. So it's easier just to not use it. OGG is great. Um, Odyssey. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the piece of code AUDICY is a fantastic sound uh, manipulator. You can take and create MP3s. You can create OGGs. You can you can create waves. You can literally do just about anything you'd ever want to do with it, and it's free. It's a great piece of code. You can handle stereo or mono. You can do all kinds of stuff. Okay, so we keep a flag alive that says we got a joystick. Because if you don't have a joystick, then you got to use your keyboard. And your keyboard commands are right, left, up, down, or space to fire. Okay, so for me, it's a joystick. So we support all of that in this program. So we then start with our outer screen, which is literally nothing, as you know. I resize him to make sure he's all the way at the top of the screen. Um, and then I get rid of our invasion or canvas, the canvas gadget that's on him, and use those parameters as Earth gadget to set my windowed screen to be his exact replacement. Okay, so that's where I'm using that. And then we have a whole bunch of definitions here. Um, uh, those are variables used farther down. I'm not going to go into each one and what they do. But suffice to say, okay, after we get the graphic screen up, first thing I do is start our background sound. Okay, that's the little music that plays in the background. It's on a loop and it continuously plays throughout the whole game. Uh, to do that, you put it on a sound loop and you set your volume. Okay. Now, volume is something that you can change on the game options screen. You can actually change the indication to make it louder or quieter. And you also have an FX volume that handles all of your button clicks and explosions and firing sounds. Okay. Normally that's a louder sound because they're smaller and shorter in duration. So then we have the show what variable. And I put a post out on my website talking about the shmup, and all of the screens are controlled through this show what. And the basic setup is, and we'll get to it in a second, is either you're watching screens or you're playing the game. Okay. So you kind of have a binary switch there. And then if you're watching screens, all screens get pointed back to the main screen. So you can go through all the screens. You can do whatever you want to do until you say play game. And then play game puts you in the other side of that has you playing the game. So what I'm doing is coming into here and loading up images of the various pieces, those screens that you saw. They're all set for a particular size, exactly the same kind of thing. So I came up with a cool design, and then I just cloned it for every screen and filled it in with whatever type I wanted. And it's all static kind of stuff. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use the gauntlet, which is, I believe, the first one that I load into here is the gauntlet. Yes. So we load up the gauntlet as our pointer. Okay. And this sprite, we're going to init, we have already initialized the mouse, so I can track the mouse's movement on our game screen. And you're going to move a gauntlet around. Okay. You can make it any PNG that you have a heart to. So then we have various things. We have markers, we have titles, options, credits, mission 0. We have our heroes list I initialize. This is the actual heroes list screen. So that actually is an empty screen, and then I use the font and I write the current top 10 to it. Okay. And I'll show you that shortly. So then we have the same thing here with the score. This is where we load that placard stone backing score. And then we're actually almost to the game, okay? All of this just executes one time through Zoom as it goes. Then we make our stars, okay? We do a call to the make stars, which is on the stars sheet over here, and we'll probably do him first. And then we set up the player. So the player, there's only one player, and the player is defined as a type of this structure, player ship. Okay. And then we go through and we load up, what does his bullet look like? What does his ship look like? What are those shields that he's got on there? How many, what is his bullet size? The bullet strengths, where does he start on the screen, how big he is. Okay, all of the standard kind of stuff. And then I identify, I have it set to, you're not only stuck on the X plane where you can go side to side, you can go up and back about 200, twips or pixels. You can go up and back about 200 on the y-axis on the screen. So it gives you an easy way to get out of trouble and stuff. So And then we actually start the game. We finally have gotten to our repeat. 300 lines into this code, we've gotten to the repeat. And believe it or not, we're almost done with the main sheet code. So the main sheet code, if we take off the show what, I got to show you this. The code, oh, that's it. Yeah, that's the whole thing. Sorry. Okay. The game code's only about 25 lines of code in here. So this starts our double repeat. Okay. So this ends our first one, which probably could be deleted and just ignored. So then we do the way this works, and I know I've done a video on this before, the screen, is that you got two buffers. You got the displayed buffer on the screen, and then the second he displays that buffer, he frantically starts building the second buffer. And then when it loops back around, he flips the buffers and shows you the one he just did and starts creating the next one. Okay? So that's what this flip buffer is. So we're showing one image, and now we're building the next. So we start with clearing the screen. We get our current elapsed milliseconds. That's our current time. And then we show the stars. So we have 200 stars to put on the screen. That'll go do that. Then we come down here and we say, okay, what are we showing? And remember, I said, if you, I think I can collapse this, right? So we come into here and say, either you're showing the game or you're showing everything else. You're doing all the screens. So all of this code is nothing more than flipping between showing you this sprite or showing you this sprite, watching where you click on the screen, okay? So this code is repetitive over and over. It all depends on what the screen what the sprite looks like. And the first one is the busiest because that's the intro. And what we do is we display the sprite intro screen. We center him on the screen. And then we display the gauntlet for you wherever the mouse is on the screen. And then we just sit around and wait for you to click a mouse button. When you click the mouse button, we play the click sound. And this is different than the cycling of the other one. This is just a multi-channel click. And what that means, this is really important, is that every time I play the click, even if one click is playing, he'll play a second, he'll play a third, he'll play a fourth on top of each other. Okay? Each one gets its own channel, and when that channel is done, it basically goes away. So we can sit there and play stuff over and over and over and over and over and over and concurrently and all of that by using this multi-channel thing. And then we're also using our FX volume. So then we are tracking the mouse on our screen. So if the mouse is on the first bar and we know you've clicked the left mouse button, then what are we going to do? We're going to flip you to show the game. Then we're going to show you the hero. Okay, so these are the different options on the screen. All I'm doing is giving you a different show what. So this first one says, okay, show what? The intro. Well, the second one says, show what? The hero screen. Okay, that's your top 10 or 20 or whatever you want to keep. Okay, and that displays, you have to display the gauntlet on top of the screen. So we're going to display, let's see, oh, I got that screwed up. Hold on. So originally it was just that one. I got to move this down a little bit farther south because right here is where we're creating that screen. We have the big image that goes up, and what we're doing is we're writing to it. We're going to spin our list of heroes that is in the array of heroes, the top 10 that we've pulled out of the preference file. And then we write it to the screen. We stop drawing and we display our sprite, and then we put our gauntlet on top of the sprite. Okay. Then we're looking for a left-click mouse button to flip us back to show intro. So basically, every one of these screens works the same way. Uh, you get a few more options on the option screen because you got two volumes, and I got a little marker in between that you're moving around when you turn it up and down. So that's all this is doing. It's like not a big deal, but it kind of is, I guess, because it's important to the game. And then also we do a save preference. And in save preference, I reset the volume of the game and the volumes of the FXs and stuff. I reset those values. So the actual current value then gets played. So you can actually turn the sound all the way down to off or turn it back up to loud. Let's see, and then we show credits. Got to have a credit screen in a game, right? And then we have two additional screens. So at the end of each level, you either succeeded or you failed, okay? So what we're going to do is display the success or failure. And if the game succeeded, we bump up your game level. And then we reset your kills. Okay, and you're required to get 2 times the game level additional to the 6, and then we start the game all over again. Okay, so here we could also say add 1 to the enemy bullets, add 1 to the number of enemies you're going against. Right there is where you're going to tweak each level of the game until it becomes unmanageable and then they all die. So, I mean, that's the purpose of the game in reality. Or you've lost. And if you've lost, we then check to see if you're doing a hit, your score got on the top 10. And if it got on the top 10, then we're adding you to our heroes list. We're going to save preferences, and then we're going to return you to the show heroes. So one of the things I am using here is something I don't use very often. Part of the heroes list is a get of the person's name. So I haven't actually tested this yet. I'll probably test it before my next video, but I have an input requester that will do nothing but pop up a little dialogue and let you type your name in, and then it will save it back to the name. You have a 35 character name. I didn't want to go with 3 initials. I always figured that was stupid. It's kind of funner to put stupid names in there and let people guess who they really belong to. So, you could be the knights who say ni, that kind of thing. So it does an input requester, which will be just this little itty bitty field that pops up sticky on top of the world, and you have to type your name in and hit OK, and then it saves it back. I've been debating on doing a video on all the requesters and just kind of loop through all of them. This will be my first or second use of this one since I've been writing the language, and it's a perfect example of where to use it. So I haven't seen it yet, but I'm sure it's going to work just fine. And then we drop into the game. So that's all the screens. That's all our screen code. It's the same over and over and over, only slightly different. And so we then come down to the game. And I think this is our next break point. And I'm going to pick up with the game on the next video. And I want to thank you all very much for watching.